Okay, can you see the slide?
Can.
Okay, Prof. Ramadan, you can start the presentation.
Okay. 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 Thank you, moderator. Okay. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all participants. Thank you and highly appreciate to TS Dr. Muhammad Rosli Muhammad Hassan from the Sustainable Asphalt Research Group, School of Civil Engineering, University of Science Malaysia. And thank you to all participants to join today talks online session. Actually, today is just I want to share. It's not give the teaching because I know mostly the participant here is expert in the writings. Like also Dr. Rosli have been published more than hundreds, I think, article in the Web of Science. Okay. Then also I seen many participants from my previous college, like the USMs. Dr. Rossi actually is my close friend when I'm master at the USM. And also I seen from the UTM also. Thank you for the join today. And I seen many of students from the private university and also from the government university. Okay, so what should like to start today with the some of the informations about the slides. Let me talk about the first about the title is the high impact journal way to get it published. As mentioned earlier, my name is Ramadhan Shah Putrajaya. Is not the place, not the place at the KL. There is a difference. So currently, I'm the Professor Madya at the University Malaysia Pahang. Just joined on 2018. So before, I'm the senior lecturer at the University Technology Malaysia. Okay, next, Dr. Rosli. Okay, so just a few about my background. Okay, so this is my research interest. Normally in the civil engineering material, but especially in the highway engineering, advanced concrete material, and then one more. Tolong terusi, ada satu lagi belum keluar. Yeah, one more also in the porous concrete pavement. So actually the porous concrete is a combination from the I'm learned from the highway and combined with the concrete. So it can be make it in the concrete pavements, but adding with the porous. Okay, another my research interest is on nanomaterial. So nanomaterial. Okay, so this is the on the nanomaterial. Also, one of the my research currently. Actually, this is just starting when I'm at the UTM. So on the nano, I'm using the waste material converted to the nano size, and then apply in the highway and also in the concrete. Okay, next please. Okay, so this is another my backgrounds. On 2020, so I have received awards medal from the Institution of Civil Engineering, United Kingdoms, and also on the same years, I'm received the top reviewer from the Web of Science that is at the United States. Okay, this is my current publications on the Web of Science. It's around 200 somethings with the citation more than 1,000 and the H index is around 18. And also I have been review around 966 articles on the Web of Science. And the last one is I'm also the editor for 42 articles on the Web of Science. Okay, next please. Okay, so before that, actually the cumulative articles impact factor from the Web of Science is around 98 something. Okay, so this is another my backgrounds that published under Scopus. So it's different with the Web of Science because not all the Scopus index will index by the Web of Science, but mostly under Web of Science is will be indexed in the Scopus. So that's why the different numbers is quite high. Example for the Scopus, I have around 244 by today. So actually I have another 5 will be indexed by the next month. With the citation is around 1,500, and the hash index is 19. Okay, next please. Yeah, so this is another my publications that's indexed by Google Scholar. So the citation is around 2,500 with H index 24, and the I index is for 64. So I index is there is about the for one article has been cited for 10 times. So this calculate for one I10 index. Actually, the Google Scholar they will index anything what your documents already online. So everything online is will be indexed in the Google Scholar. Include example the report from labs, and then maybe you have a notes. So when you come to online, and then will be indexed automatically under Google Scholar. Okay, next please. Okay, currently I'm editor, guest editor, lead editor, and for the some special issue. Okay, masih ada lagi 2 Dr. Rossi. Okay, so guest editor for Frontier in Materials. This is the impact factor 2.7, and also I'm the for the last 3 years up to this years I'm the guest editor for IOP conference and also the AIP conference proceeding, and also I'm the guest editor for the Open Civil Engineering Journal. This is Scopus. Journal of Traffic, this is with the Dr. Rosley, and also the Material Science and Engineering. They have some impact factor, I think around 2 point something, also with the Dr. Rosley, and the key engineering material science forums, and the last one is the construction. So all this journal is index corpus and also Web of Science. Except for the construction. So construction is a new journal from University Malaysia Pahang, just starting this January. Still not indexed in the Scopus, only indexed in the Google Scholar. So maybe if you any participant here have related article to the this journal, so you can submit as soon as possible. Okay, next please. Okay, so now we go to the about the writing the journals. So let's see first about the where we to publish. So actually, this is the level of this difficulty is I taken from survey on 2018. So maybe nowadays it will be different because on that time is different rules from the university. So on the 2018 is I'm not missed on that times, but I'm not sure. So this is a survey by the undergraduate student. Okay, so the level of difficulties is like example, book chapter is can be lowest, the conference, and then the non-index journal, and the next is the index journal. Maybe nowadays, the conference writings is more easy comparing to the book chapter or the non-index journal. But maybe maybe. So non-index journal next time is more easy comparing to the conference, because some of the conference some of conference nowadays is indexed by Scopus and also the Web of Science. So offshore they have on a review for the article. Okay, like the book chapter also have a different difficulty normally. Like example, if you publish under Springer, so I have around four or three, something like that, for books under Springer. So to write the book chapter is also have a big difficulty actually. Have some problems. And then the review will be 2 to 3 times. And then if you publish under Elsevier, so the review process is same like the journal. So I have 2 book chapters under Elsevier. I think it took around 1 year to publish, because the review process is take times. Okay, and that's the non-index journal, like I mentioned before in the construction UMP. So I think that journal is, because just starting, so it's not difficult to publish. So depend to the article. And then the last one is the index journal. So this is the university look for. Because now is, if the university want to go the top ranking university, and they are looking for the publications, the citations, and have the another thing, like the example, the graduates capability, and also the staff ratio to the student. But the highest marks is coming from the research and publication. Okay, next please. Okay, so this I'm sure to all participants here, the examples, the largest society publisher. This is not all, I just show a few. I think around 30% from the all in the world. Okay, so maybe the familiar, like the Elsevier and also the IEEE, and also here is ASCE. I also have the Construction Society, and another Taylor and Francis also is a famous publisher in the world. So this I'm just show just a few sample. They have a lot of the publisher, not includes in this slide. Maybe I missed like the Springer also is a good publisher. Springer as the Asia, they are main office at the Singapore. Okay, next please. Okay, so when we talk to the article, so they have also the article processing charge that the short form is the APC. So not when the APC is normally used for the open access journal. So even if you submit to the construction building material, nowadays also need to pay around 3,000 USD if you want max your article open access. Okay, so under SRP also they now they have around 40 to 50% journal. If you max open journal, should be pay article processing charge. Okay, just I'm sure here some of the publisher, the 100% they will charge. Even you don't want to open access or not open access, so they will charge you 100%. So like example, the Hindawi. So Hindawi, they have a good publisher. Almost the journal here is index Elsevier, and some of journal have a high impact factor that is in the Web of Science. And then another one is the MDPI. MDPI also have a very good publisher. but we need to pay is one article, example, published on the journal material. So we have to pay around 10,000 ringgit Malaysia. So for one article, but they have a high impact factor around 3.5 something. Okay, and then also they have another publisher is the Emirates Publishings, and also they have Sagi Publishing. So all these publisher under this journal, under this publisher journal, so they will charge the article processing charge. So and then after that, when your article is online, the readers no need to pay the articles, so just get free, yeah. So that's why you think if the open access, you can download free, but if no open access, meaning you have to pay. So what is the advantage? The advantage is when the open access, meaning many reader from the others university or the others countries will be cite your article. But if you put your article close for the open access, so meaning is we cannot get any advantage for the that article. Only can be seen in the website, cannot be downloaded. So maybe this some advantage or disadvantage when we are publishing with the article processing charge. Okay, next please. Okay, so another one is Frontier also have goods impact factor journal, mostly around 3 point something, and some of the material civil have around 2.7. So here we need to pay around 2,500 USD per article. I think mostly the journal under university in Malaysia, like example RIUM, University Antarabangsa Malaysia, UTM Journal Technology, Science Malaysiana, and then also the journal under one of the public university. I forgot the names. So all that journal need to pay the article processing charge. Okay, like example, journal technology, I think above 500 ringgit and 1,000 something lah. And then journal under IUN is around 500 USD. And Science Malaysiana also need to pay the article processing charge. Otherwise, when you publish, your article will be not go for the open access. Okay, next please. Okay, so if we got difficulty to submit, I mean the submit is not one of the issue. The issue is if our article is not accepted on the journal, the article under high impact journal, so maybe we can go to the proceeding. But the proceeding need to select which proceedings is index corpus. So here I'm show some examples, the proceeding from the conference that is indexed by Scopus and also indexed by the Web of Science. Like example, the scientific.net. So this is by Transtech Publication. In the material, they have the key engineering material and also they have what's that? The material science forums. So that two journal is index in the Scopus. Before that, I think on 2010 something, so they have another one, Advanced Material Research. But the problem is that journal have higher self-citation. So if a self-citation more than 5 for one article, so after 3 volumes with the Scopus, and the next volume is will be thrown out from the index. Okay. And then another example is the AIP. This is from the American Institute of Physics, also Index Corpus and Web of Science. And then I also have the EDP Science. I think the EDP only left one proceeding now under Scopus. They have around 7. The rest is already out from the Scopus index because of the citations and then some of the technical issue. Okay, so another one is the IOP conference, environmental science, and also material 2D proceeding. So this material 2D proceeding is not only indexed in the under the Scopus, also indexed under the Web of Science. So this is we cannot submit directly to the material today. You have to go by the conference. Okay, next please. Okay, so one more, Dr. Rossi. Okay, so this is the famous index that we know currently. Actually, they have many. So, like example, the Scopus, the Web of Science, the Science Direct, Google Scholar. The ERA is excellent in research for Australia. So, has been published under this ERA, you will get a mark for the Myra, Myra Scholar from University in Malaysia. So, like the Google Scholar, so like mentioned before, in that Google Scholar is everything your online, even the technical report or the lab report will be indexed by Google Scholar. Science Direct is this is for the journal index and also for the article index. The Web of Science is the same, and the Scopus is also the Scopus is the index is only the abstract. So if we looking for the full content of the paper, the reader must ask permission from the correspondent author. But from the Science Direct and also from the Web of Science, I think Science Direct is more famous. All other Elsevier, so we can download direct the full paper. If the open access, of course, will be free. So if no open access, and then we need to pay to the publisher. Okay, and then another one is the SGR. This is the Schemago journals and country ranking. Actually, SGR is never indexed the article. So the SGR is only calculate the H index of the journal. So every journal in under Science Direct or Web of Science and some of the Scopus, so will be indexed under SGR. So SGR is no for article. That is only for the journal. So actually every editor, they have the KPI, the key performance. The KPI is how to make the journal index under SGR. So that is from my experience. So I have to make the journal index in the SGR. Meaning is before SGR, so the journal should come first under Scopus. Okay, next. Is also they have the directory of open access journal. So this is not for the article. This DOAG is for the journal only, same like the SGR. But the SGR, they will calculate about the H index of the article, and also they will show the quarterly of the ranks. Example Q1, Q2, Q3 until Q4. It's same like the Web of Science. So the journal under Scopus also have different Q1 until Q4. And also the Web of Science have a different Q1 until Q4. So they have a different way and also have a different formula to produce the Q1 until Q4. Okay, next please. Okay, so this I'm show you some the how we check the journal is still coverage by the Scopus, because nowadays is many of the journal. I'm got the email one day around 10 to 15 invitation. They are mentioned the journal is have highest impact factor and also have the index in the Scopus and Web of Science, something like that. And mostly come from the China and also the India. So India, I think, have many predatory journal. Okay, so to make sure your article is published in the correct way, I mean published in the correct journal, so we can check that journal by the Scopus. Also, we can check by the SGR, but the SGR sometimes is if the new journal in the Scopus will be not in the SGR because the index of the H index of the journal is 0. So the easy way is just go to the Scopus and then you clicks on the search, and then we can see here on the documents on the left side. Okay, and then you see the ISSN. So every journal have the ISSN. You copy and paste on the right side the search documents. Okay, so you paste there and then you click the button search. Okay, so if the journal is still, if the journal is covered by the Scopus, and then we can see the result from the right side, source detail. The examples, I'm show you one for the Arabian Journal for Science and Engineering. So we can see here the Scopus coverage here is from 84, 86, 96 until present. Meaning is until this year, still indexed in the Scopus. Okay, the publisher is the Springer, so you can check detail here, the ISN number, and also the citation, the SGR. So you can see the SGR for 2019 is around 2.3. This is also high because the SGR is calculating from the citation of the article that has been published by the journal. Okay, so another example, if the journal or the proceeding not cover in the Scopus, so we can check like the METEC Web of Conference. This is only scope coverage here from 2012 until 2018. Okay, sometimes not all the year. I mean, example 2018, they will not index for all the year on 2018. So depend on the volume. Sometimes only for the half year. I mean, for the 6 months. Another 6 months will be not indexed in the Scopus. Okay, so we can see here the coverage discontinued in the Scopus. I think the method have problem with the example, one author has been published more than 3 articles in the same volume. This is also the problem. Okay, and then one article might be have self-citation more than 5 times. So if we have 10 reference, around 7 references is from the self-citation from the same authors. Okay, so this will be checked. The Scopus actually have the on software to detect all the this self-citation and also the duplicate names. I mean, in the one volume example, so one volume of the conference proceeding, and then the same author has been published around 5 articles. So this is cannot be accepted. Okay, so the maximum is only 2. Some of the proceeding maximum is only 3. But this is happened to the METEC Web of Conference before. So that's why this conference is now discontinued from the Scopus. Okay, so just want to repeat how we check the Scopus coverage here under Scopus. So you just copy and paste from the ISSN. Okay, or nowadays mostly in general they have the EISN. E meaning is electronics. Okay, ISN meaning they have electronic and also the hardcover. Okay. So another one is have the ISBN. ISBN is for the books only, book proceeding. So the code is ISBN, but for the journal is ISSN. Right. Okay. Next, please. Okay. So, oh, no. Okay, so this is I'm sure you about the English language. I mean the proofread, because why? When we submit to the journal high impacts, example the Q1 or until Q4, so the first checking is about the English writing. This is very important actually. So for me, my suggestion is before you submit to the high impact journal, make sure the article has been go for the proofread. So last time I'm sent the proofread. This is not for the promotion. I just taking the example. So maybe you can send to the Edit Age example. This is from the Hong Kong. Not expensive. For me, it's okay lah when we pay using the grant. And then Xavier is very expensive. One page is around 100 USD. And also the Springer IEEE, so they have on English editing. So when you submit your article, so the article will be not go to the editor. So the article, the first start will be go to the technical teams. So technical team is will be checked on the formatting. It is I would say follow exactly the formatting of the journal or not. And the second one, they will check on the English, the proofread. Okay, so that the rules submissions before the article go to the editor. So I mentioned like this. This is from my experience when I'm handling the article. So when they submit, if everything okay, I mean the proofread is okay, the English is no problems, and also the formatting is also do on the correct way, and then the technical team will be sent to the editor. So what editor will be see is the editor will be not check on your English and also the formatting. The editor only will be see what is the novelty of the articles, and then any similarities with the others published article. So if these two part it's okay. And another one is a scope lah, scope. If the article in the scope of the journal, and then will be sent to the reviewer. If not, then you will get rejected of the article. So meaning is rejected before sent to the reviewer. If the article already sent to the reviewer, meaning is your paper have some novelty. So that's why the editor will be sent to the reviewer. If not, then directly will be rejected. Okay, next please. Okay, so this is some of the process of the publication the papers. So I think this is the normal conditions. Like example, you have the complete the research. If not complete, also have a few data. And then we preparing the manuscripts based on the journal scope, and then submit to the journals, and then will be assigned by the editor. If have novelty or have new contribution to the knowledge, and then the article will be sent to the review. Okay, so they have indication on the rejects or the when sent to the review. So maybe will be takes around 1 to 2 months, but depend on the reviewer. Sometimes the review will be take around 3 months. But as the editor, so editor can send reminder every 1 month. I have bad experience actually when 2007 something like that. So I send one article to the UK, ICE under ICE publisher. So the review process is 10 months. And then at the end is when they decide my paper is rejected. So I feel very angry actually. And then I asked the editor. Editor said this is not because of the editor, because of the reviewer. So they have sent 7 different reviewer, but all of them is stuck on the report. I don't know. Is it because of the paper, or I'm not sure. But after that, after 10 months, and then I prepare against the same paper. So I improve a little bit, and then I send to the Q2 journals in the US. So only 2 months is accepted. Okay, that is actually is a very bad experience lah when I submit one article to the UK. But actually, that journal is have high impact factor. So the problem is now is not for the editor, but reviewer. Sometimes is takes more than a month. Okay, so if you got revisions and then you make the refresh your manuscripts, the paper, and then resubmit, and then they will send again to the review process. Okay, if we have follow exactly what the reviewer mentions, and then they will accept them. If not, and then they will reject. Okay, next please. Okay, so this is the main structure, how we write the journal. I think all we know about this, because this is the very important part in the article. Okay, so I thought this, I taken this from one of my students that has graduated from UTM. So the effect of nano charcoal. So what we can write the title. So title we have to make sure is no abbreviations. So don't give any example. Example the article is about the nano charcoal coconut shell S, and then we make short form. Nano charcoal is okay, and then you in bracket is CCSH. That one is not suitable use for the title. Okay, and then the title should be reflected to the content of the article. So when I'm the review the papers, so I'm seeing many of the title is quite different with mostly with the abstract. So maybe it can be give some reporting about how you improve the title. Okay, and then in the journal, every journal they have search engine index to identify the relevant article. So if more than 50% your title is have similarity with the others article, so I think the editor will be reject your article. Okay, so make sure you have very clearly title, and also not use any abbreviations. Okay, next please. This is the main structure. Okay, another structure from the article is about the abstract. So how we write the abstract? So abstract is about the summarize. So just summarize from all our article. If I can give example, our body. So our body is the main head is the abstract. So the abstract is everything there. So what we need to write under abstract is first start with the introduction. Introduction only one line lah. So start introduction with one lines, and then following by the problem statement. After problem statement, and then following by the objective, and then brief of the methods, and then a few results. So the result is not all the result. So the result is based on your objective. Example, you have one or two objective, only based that objective you write the brief of the result. And then the conclusion also, or the novelty is from your aims of study. So no need to write everything, write every conclusion in the abstract. So the abstract in the impact factor journals, the maximum words is 350, but some the journal is only 150. Okay, like example, the Journal of Material and Research Engineering, there is the Q1 journal with the impact factor 5.2 something. So that journal only looks 120 words of the abstract. Okay, so make sure the abstract has been covered for the all contents and not too long. Okay, next please. Okay, so the next structure of the article is the introductions. I think this mostly participant here has known about this because it is very familiar and also has, I think, has been right when you're writing of the thesis. But the difference is the article is more short comparing to the thesis. Okay, the introduction, what we need to introduce here is what is the main problem, and then the backgrounds, and then the reasons why you want to conduct the research, and then some of the review study, and then the last one is what is your different published work. So this is very important actually. So the another one is I'm not include here. There is the aims of the objective. I mean the aims of the study, the aims of the research investigation. But under introductions, the main point is what is the difference current study with the previous journal. So I think this can be right, will be based on the review. So that's why if you make citations, make sure the citation is 5 year old. Okay, if more suitable using for last 2 year or the current year, that is much better lah. But the minimum is 5 years. I mean the maximum is 5 years on. That is also is okay for the reference citation under introduction. Okay, next please. Okay, so another main structure when we write the article journal is about the methodology. So the methodology is no problems. I think this is not one of the big problems when we write, because the methodology have on standards, and sometimes sometimes we just follow the international standard. But in the methodology, we cannot write like in the book. So we make it in brief and very clear. So example, how we explain your study and then identify the procedure you follow, and then explain methodology in detail, not meaning you copy and paste from the standard, but make it brief and clear, is covered to the main part of the methodology. Okay, so other method also can be cited from the previous published work. Example, we cannot find any international methods, but we have seen the article from last 2 years, example. So the article use the same method like what we write the current study. So that can be cited as the methodology. Okay. Like my research before, so I'm exposed the concrete to the seawater. Actually, there are no standards on that situations. If we expose the concrete to the seawater, no British standard, no Malaysian standard, or no American standards to follow. So what I can do is, so I just follow from the previous published article. Okay, next please. Okay, so now the next structure is we're talking about the results. So the result is objectively present your findings and explains what you have found. and then show that your new results contribute to the scientific knowledge, and then should be clear in terms of the table and the figure, and then have brief descriptions on the legend. Actually, from the result, so if we have example, we have only a few results, but we can use the software to make it to show plotting graph is very exclusive. Example, even you have a very simple data. So for my experience, I talk to the student also. So not use only the Excel. So try to using another software like some example the SPSS, or the another software can be draw the graph differently with the Excel. Okay, so this is to show with the reviewer or the editor, our result is have a new contribution. Okay, next please. Okay, so this is very critical part actually when we write the article or the manuscripts. There is about the discussion or the analysis. Okay, so after you plot the graph, and then of course from the graph we need to discuss in detail, and then make it very deep analysis. Okay, what we can do about the discussion is, so you have to describe the result meaning the contents about the study, and also they indicate the results that are related to the expectations, and then have the comparison with the previous study, and then also we need to show how we move to the next knowledge. So meaning is what we can do with the discussion is, so maybe the first we discuss about the increase or the decrease the value what you get from the labs. Example, increase 20%, decrease 30%, and then but beside that, so what we need to explain is about the mechanism. So what happened behind that value? Is it example if 5% will be increased? What happened to the material? If 10% example decrease, so what happened to the material? So this is the contribution actually. And then at the end, we make a comparison with the other researchers. The comparison might be from previous research, they mentioned 5% is not good. And then when we come out with our research, we say the 7% is more better than 5. So that is the example. So we make the comparison with the others article. So to show our novelty have been moved and then have been forward ahead comparing to the others publication. Okay, next please. Okay, so and then when we go to the next step is the conclusions. So the conclusion is directly support by your results, and then what is the further study? Actually, the main part in the conclusion is I'm seeing many article is repetition from the result and discussion, and then also they copy and paste from the abstract. This is not correct. Okay? This is not correct way to write the conclusion. So the conclusion is you have to write the different way, but the meaning is no out from the main content. Okay, we cannot copy and paste because if you copy and paste, when you go to the similarity index, so even in the same article, I'm sure they will have some similarity index. Okay, so what we can do with the conclusion is, so you just conclude what is the main part from the discussion, but the way you write it should be different from the result and discussion. Okay, this is very important. Okay, and then outline the next step for the further study. This is depend to the authors. But for me, I don't want to give any further study because why? If you put the sums for the further study, maybe the next time is another researchers will be copy and paste and they will publish in the article. But depend to you lah. That one is depend to the authors. For me, sometimes I put for the suggestion for the further study, and sometimes I'm just make it on the conclusion. Okay, next please. Okay, so this is can be give summarize on all the structure of the writing article. So I put in the table the section example, the title, and the title it should be clearly describe the contents, and the authors have to make sure the affiliations. Okay, some of article they have what's it, maximum authors, like the mostly I think in the German or the Iran, I am not miss in Germany. So 1 or 2, 3 journal iPhones, they put the maximum authors is only 6, 6 sahaja, so not be more than 6. Okay, nowadays in many university in Malaysia, I'm not sure lah, but in UMP, they put some limitation for the authors. If the article pay using the grant, okay. So if the article using the research grant, the author cannot be more than 6 authors in the one article. Right. So the abstract is describes what we have done. And the keyword is you have to make sure the article is identified and also has been reflected to the main content of the study. So the title and the keywords, they have correlations. I mean, they have very close relationship because why? From the keywords, we can make as the title. Okay, from the title also can be make it as the keywords to make difference our article with the others journal. Okay, then the introductions, we need to explain the problems, not only the problems, also include the objective, and also include the review study. Okay. And then the methods, how to explain how the data will were collected, and the result is should be described clearly and very deep about your data. And discussion is the implication of the finding. So this part is very critical part because the author will be checked in detail. Our contribution is from this sections, from the discussion part. Okay, so try to analyze or try to describe very clear about your discussion. Okay, and then acknowledgement is can be example your research study has been supported by the grant or whatever that, so we can include in the acknowledgements. So acknowledgement is not compulsory for the journal. So this is only compulsory for the research grant. Okay, the reference is we need to ensure the previous published work is recognized. So meaning is in the reference, try to cite the article. The maximum is 5 years old. But the better way is the current years. But the current year I think is quite difficult to find. Or try to last 2 years. Okay, the appendix depend to the journal. Some appendix, some journal, they ask to include the appendix because they don't want to many data we put together in the main part of the journal. But for me, for my suggestion. So the appendix, I don't want to include any data here, because when you include others data, supporting data on the appendix, meaning you cannot write another article. So your data will be stopped on that journal article. You cannot go to the another journal. Okay, so they have a copyright already. Right. So next, please. Okay, next. Okay, so now we're talking about the why our paper rejected. So this is actually many contributions rejected paper from the article. I think more than can say more than 10 problems, but I'm just realized here around 10 to 11 why our article was rejected. Okay, let's see for the next slide, please. Okay. Okay, so this is I'm listed here around 11. Why our article was rejected from the journal? So number one, because of the manuscripts does not fall within the journal aims or the scopes. So maybe example, so you write on the environmental engineering, then you submit to the constructions journal. So the scope will be different unless the journal have the special issue on the environmental engineering. Okay, if not, then will be out from the journal scopes and the ends. Okay, the second one is the paper is under review at another journal. So this is very big problem actually. So I'm see many authors. I think even last year. I'm not sure from which country. The same article, they same submit to 3 different journal, but unfortunately, the reviewer is same. So I'm the review of the paper. So I got the same paper from 3 different journals. So this is a very big issue actually. So and then I'm write to the editor to mention about this situations. And after that, the all author from the paper uh, has been blacklisted from the journal for the 5 years. The all author, not only the correspondent author. So I have to make sure you are not send the same article to different journal when is the article still under review. This is very dangerous. Okay. And then the blacklisted is not only the author, also the affiliation. The affiliation is not for the university, but only for the faculty. So example, your names, the author has 5. So of course, the 5 authors will be blacklisted. And the 5 authors is different faculty, example. So that different faculty also will be blacklisted to submit the article for 5 years. Okay, so make sure you submit the article only for one journal, and then wait until have dedications. Okay, and then number 3 is writing in the comprehensible. Maybe like can we say like the cincai lah. So they write. So the structure is not correct. So many things. So that's why on this part, I think not the editor will be rejected. So on this part, the technical team will be reject of the article. Okay, number 4 is doesn't conform to the writing style of the journal. So this is I'm seen from my student before. It's many times I saw they are writing not follow exactly on the formatting of the journal. especially for the reference, citation, and how we write the figure, and also the table. Sometimes the figure, some journal, we need to write in the full name, figure. Some journal, just for the short name, the FIG. Okay. And then also the reference, the reference, and then the numbers, the page number, so everything we need to follow exactly what already mentioned by the journal. Okay, number 5 is the research doesn't add value to the journal. This is the contributions. I think on this part is only can be decided by the editor. Okay, so if you not show any contributions to the knowledge, so meanings the article or your paper will be not go to the review process, will be stopped under editor. Okay, and then number 6 is unclear hypothesis, and then number 7 is lack of supporting evidence. So meaning is you write many things there, but no evidence. Evidence like the data. So you mention from A to Z, but your data is only from A to C. That is the example. So meaning is your contribution not supporting by any data. Okay, and then poor analysis. Poor analysis examples, you have a good data, but your writing is only presents about the value and about the what happened to the graph. I mean, if the graph increase or decrease is only on that part, you are right. You are writing, I mean, okay. So that we call the poor analysis. Okay, and then number 9 is wrong research methodology. I think this is not a big issue. Only a few authors is it's not wrong actually. Maybe they have a writing on a different way, so the meaning is not same like the international standard or the national standard. But this one is if the problem about the not correct way to write research methodology, I don't think the editor will be rejected. So they will ask you to some revision on this part. But make sure you have follow exactly with the international standard or the national standard. Okay, and that's number 10 is the inclusive result. This is inclusive result. Maybe is you include another result, but that result is not under methodology. So suddenly you have a result, but in the methodology you never mention about the test of the A. Okay, so this is about the inclusive of the result. Okay, then number 11 is violation of the research ethic. This is about the every journal. So they have the put one for the SRPA lah, for the SRPA or the Springer. They have form to fill in by the authors about the conflict of interest. Okay, so we don't want to after publish and then one the author will be complained. So my name it should be number 1, number 2, number 3. So this is the research setting. Actually, this is not good. So if this happen, sometimes is we can request to the journal to withdraw our article. But the problem is if the journal already cite by the other researchers, so this is will be have a problem. Okay, and then also the journal, the article already indexed under scopus of all the web of science. Okay, so this is we have to make sure about this. I just show a few things on this slide why our article has been rejected. Okay, next. Okay, so I think that's all from my part. I pass back to the moderator, Dr. Rosli.
Thank you very much, Prof. Ramadan. So I think now we open for the Q&A. So now it is the session for the question and answer. So if you have question to ask, as what I mentioned to you, I'm not sure either the chat box will be work for everyone that joining the session, but you still can turn on your microphone and speak to our speaker, Professor Ramadan.
Okay, any question, please?
So while waiting for the question, so I just based on input that we get from Prof. Ramadan. So the structure, I believe that everyone know the structure of the article, which is it must be begin with the title, and then we have the abstract, the keywords, and then we have the introduction. If your work, you work on the material, so you have to introduce about the material, and then the methodology, you proceed with the result and discussion, and finally the conclusion. So the acknowledgement is the optional part. You can put it if you have any financial support, or you get any help from certain body, or you get the supplier of the material that want you to put put the acknowledgement and mention their company there. And then the final one is the reference. Okay, so any journal, they have almost the same format, but sometimes the requirement would be different for the citation format, like what mentioned by Professor Ramadan, and also the abstract in terms of the number of words, it would be slightly different. It depends also based on the journal requirements. So it is essential for you to check the guide for authors. Okay, for now, we can receive any question. If you like to ask, you can first you can try to use the chat box, but I'm not really sure either you can access the chat box or not, or
Good
maybe
morning,
you can.
Dr.
Okay,
Ramadan.
sure. Please.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Ramadan. Good morning, Dr. Rosli. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah, let me start. Maybe our student a little bit shy and is still sleepy. Zulfami here. So, Dr. Ramadan, thank you very much for a very thorough and detailed explanation for students here. I believe that this will be a good kickstart for them to write a better journal after this. Okay, you have written a lot of articles, whether in the paid or free journals outside there, right? So my question is, comparing between these paid and also free journals, do you feel any special treatment being given to you, or any improvement in terms of the services when you compare between the paid and the free one, or is it basically the same thing? So can you please sharing a little bit about that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zulfami. So actually, Dr. Zulfami also my close friend when I'm the master. I think he's just starting the master, or I forgot. Same with Dr. Rosli. Okay, so thank you for the question. So actually, when we the difference is when we paid journal or non-paid journal. So when we paid some of the publisher, so after you pay it suddenly will be indexed. I mean, will be online. So very fast in terms of the publication process. Comparing to the non-article processing charge, so Sampa they will put your article in the queue session. So they will see example 1 year they have only 3 volume. So if the 2 volume is already full, and then you publish by this month, and the next volume will be on the December. So meaning is your article only will be indexed by the end of the years. Okay. So if the article have the processing charge, some of the journal, like example the under MDPI, so when after you paid, the accepted you paid, and then I think only less than 2 weeks they will index in the system. Okay, so this is the benefits can we get from the article processing charge and the non-article processing charge. Okay, so if you submit to the example one, the journal under Taylor and French, they will index only the title, but you cannot access on the full text because the volumes number is not ready yet. Maybe your article will be ready for the next year. So depending on the volume. So it's 1 year have 2 volume, meaning you have to wait another maybe next 2 years lah. So ICE, under ICE, Institute of Civil Engineering, my article need to wait 2.5 years to get volumes and access open access. That is free of the journal. Okay.
Dr. Ramadhan, if I may ask for your rule of thumb, for a normal situation, is it fair to assume that if we want our article to be published early next year, it must be submitted 6 to 9 months earlier than that? Do you agree with that?
Okay, so I'm not agree 100% because the time will be depending on the review process. So maybe when you submit by today and then by tomorrow, if our article has some contribution, so they will send to the reviewer, and then reviewer will be text 2 months to 3 months. So and then after that, if have some revisions, and then they will give another 2 months to refine our article, and then resubmit to re-evaluation. So I think this is the main problem, not problem from our part, but for the publisher. Because publisher, they have limitation on the volume. We cannot, cannot publish, example, every month, 10 volume example. So this is they come from the publisher.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ramadhan.
Okay, Dr. Fahmi.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Yeah, you can ask question.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank you so much for this session. My question is for the citation part. Some journals, especially the Q1 journal, they are so strict with the citation, especially for the graphs and the table. But however, some other journal, when you need to make a citation, they don't use the right link, for example. So in this case, what should I do? So the journal I'm submitting my paper to is so strict with the copyright, and the journal that I took the citation from, they don't have they don't use the right link. So in this case, I need to make the citation, and that's all, or what should I do in this case?
Prof. Ramadan, you forgot to unmute.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, thank you for the question. So actually, for the every journal, even non-index journal, so they have a system to check the cross-reference. So even you are not put any links, the system can be detected based on the formatting. So that's why when you write the citation, the reference, if the reference after author's name have the points and then comma and then dash, whatever lah, so they are mentioned. So it is very important to follow, not only for the link. So because in the journal system they have that we call the cross reference system, so they can check exactly. So maybe some of the journal they ask you to put the link. So the link not the link that has been online, but you can taken from the DOI. Okay, but this is not one of the important part lah, because every journal have the cross reference to check what I said, to check the reference style. Okay, so I think that's all.
Thank you.
Okay, any question, please? Another postgraduate student, maybe?
Dr. Ramadhan boleh sebut nama ni, baru dia orang cakap ni.
Macam duduk dewan kuliah.
Okay, Prof. I think maybe you can explain further why we shouldn't, because my thought, when I'm reviewing a paper, in the conclusion, when they mention some sort like they not summarize the study is still going on. Okay, the study is still going on, so it shows that the study not completed yet. So as a reviewer, we will ask them to put more data, and if the data provided in the paper too shallow, or it is not, for us it's insufficient, the paper could be rejected. So what do you think about that?
Okay, so this is also I'm seeing from the many article when I review. So maybe we can give some if the article have the contributions, so maybe we can give some suggestion to the authors to make improvements. Okay, and then some article, if example not finish under around 100% example. So what we need to do is need to explain more detail lah about the result to covering the main objective. Okay, so I think that is from I can answer lah. Maybe Dr. Rosli.
Yeah, you are right. And also in the same time, when we write, we have to put in our mind where in the conclusion section, it's not the place for the discussion as mentioned by Professor Ramadhan. So what we have to write in the conclusion is we have to answer back the objective of the study, in that paper. So if you put there the aims of this study to understand certain things, so you just have to answer that question. You don't need to, you don't need to put, like, for example, the study is about properties. However, you are discussing about what you get from the literature review, and you simply put it there because it's not part of the, it's not come from your study. So it's from other research work. So if you do that, sometime the reviewer will ask you, you are presenting about something where it is not presented in the result in discussion. So they will ask you, could you please provide the data with regard to that section? So that could be sometime, because as a reviewer, I believe that we try to give space for the author to publish their work. Unfortunately, sometimes some of the author they just take for granted. Let's say one of the example, they don't bother to check the template of the journal. They don't bother to read the guide for authors. So that's why with the with the mediocre work, the paper can be rejected. Even some reviewer, especially big professor, if when they read, they found, let's say, supposedly the temperature that you use to boil water 100 degrees Celsius. Unfortunately, you don't use the right symbol. So you just put 1000, okay, and the last zero, you just make superscript to make it as a degree Celsius, right? So it's supposedly it's 100 degrees Celsius, but unfortunately you don't know how to put the unit. So you just type 1000 and the zero number 4, the fourth zero, you just simply make it superscript. And when it's put it in the system, this abstract, put it in the system, and then the system don't really detect it as a degree Celsius, it detect it as 1000 C. So they said, just by doing that, the paper also could be rejected. Just additional information, because it's happened.
Yeah, it's correct. So maybe have another question.
Yeah, maybe we can.
Doctor.
Okay, sure. Please ask.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor. Hanif here. I would like to ask, what is the criteria to publish a review paper in a high impact journal? I have some difficulties. I've seen some difficulties in publishing in high impact journal because for technical paper it's much more easier. So, in your opinion, what was a good criteria in publishing a review paper?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anip, UTM.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Actually, what is the main parts should be right under review article is. So first, of course, we write on the review study. So example, author A, author B, author C. So they mention this is a good author C, author B, and then they mention it's another way. So what we can write is based on these three authors. So we give another suggestions, and then we make from that three authors what is what is our what is the next what is the next conclusion. So we give some another analysis based on the published data. So this is very critical part actually from the review. The review is not only listed the conclusions from the review study, but we need more discussion based on the review study. Okay, so that what I from my experience that has have been published a few review article, and also I'm also review many from the construction building material. Around 10 article is on the review. Only 2 can be accepted because they have good discussions, and then they give some contributions based on the review study. Okay. And then another article, also the editor is agree what I'm right in the report. Another article just mentioned the review study, and they listed the outcomes from the previous article, and they said this is my review article. Actually, this is not correct way lah to write in the review article. Okay, Dr. Anip, I think there is.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have more question? Okay. Just with regard to the review paper, Okay, so maybe we can listen to the question and later maybe I can add about the review paper. So please, Mr. Reza, if you have question to ask.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Ramadan and Dr.
Waalaikumsalam.
Rafi. Yeah. Uh, Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Ramadan. I try to understand about your presentation, especially for conclusion part and discussion part. Uh, for the conclusion part, it means does need a few sentence like like a discussion part. Uh, let's say like just make a effect from the discussion under our analytic result. So because the presentation the conclusion part uh, does not extend your conclusion beyond what is directly supported by your result. So it means just make a few sentence like effect from analytic and how about Dr. Ramadan? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reza. Okay, actually the conclusion is another important main structure, another important parts from the article. And also from the conclusions, the editor will be seen also the contribution. Actually, the writing on the conclusions, the first we cannot write writings the same like the discussions. And then we cannot copy and paste also from the abstract. So the conclusion it should be like the Dr. Rossi mentioned before. The conclusion should be reflected to your aims of the objective. Okay. So of course, when you have the aims objective, so you come up with the methodology, and then sure after that you have a few data. The data, of course, to answering the objective. So this to make in the conclusion. So the conclusion is you have to write a very short, brief, very clear, but reflected to aims of study. So this is the important thing lah for the writing of the conclusion, not repetition from the result discussion. That is not correct. And then in the conclusions, no need to mention how many percentage you got the increase, how many percentage you have moved forward. So that one is not important to answer the conclusion. Okay, that is already mentioned under discussion. The main contribution is, so what you have mentioned, the first objective, that should be answered in the conclusion. Okay, okay, I think that's from
Okay,
my.
Dr. Ramadan. Yeah, I
Okay,
got it.
okay, thank you.
Okay, regarding thank you, Prof. Ramadan. So since that someone asking, I think Dr. Hanif just now asking about the review paper. Yeah, it is not hard to get. It is not easy to get our review paper accepted in high impact journal. However, we have to try to find other opportunity and to establish our name first. Normally, to get our paper our review paper published in high impact journal, they will see the in term of our establishment or how well we are known in that area. And for example, I give you example few journal like JTTE. So because I had published a review paper there, so this journal, they are from Scopus and they try to get their paper to have to their journal to be indexed in the web of science, okay, to get the impact factor. So normally, if you send review paper to them, taking notes that they are not impact factor, they just under the Scopus. If you send review paper to them, they will give priority to publish your work. Because the reason the game is like this, because when they publish the review paper, they will get more citation. once they get more citation, it will help to increase their I index and also the H index. That will bring forward, which is to show that they are good enough to get the impact factor. So, one of the option that we have, like JTTE, because they always send me email, do you have other review paper to submit? We will give priority to your article. And sometime, when you write the review paper and you submit to the journal like construction and building material, you have 40 pages. And normally they don't want to accept this kind, because you will write something that too broad, and you just cover the surface, and they ask you to separate into 2 or 3 paper, and you have to go deeper. That's what happened to me before, so that's based on my experience. So maybe if you want to know what journal that maybe now they try to accept more review paper, I can share some journal that would like to receive your review paper. For now, doesn't matter either it is WUS or it is Corpus, but we want to establish our name, because too many established scholar, which is bigger than us. We are newcomers, so it's not easy to get our paper. Sometimes they just look at the name. Our name is not big enough. They say no, because it's happened to me before. So that's why I share this experience with all of you. So just some sharing. So more question that you want to ask Professor Ramadan?
Assalamualaikum. I am Zaidina. I want to ask about keywords in journal. How many suitable keyword in journal? And second, have any requirement title words on journal? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Okay, for the keywords, keyword the maximum is five keywords only we can include in the keywords part, keyword sections. Okay, but some journals, example, if I not miss, the journal and the publisher, the NDPI, so they can allow to put the keywords up to 6. But normally is only 5. The keywords. The keyword is the main words that come out from our contribution. I mean from article. Okay, about the title. So the title actually is many journals. So there are not mentions how many words need to include for the for the title. But what we can do is the title is if you put too long and then not reflected to the contents, so it doesn't meaning to the article. It's better to write a short and very brief of the title, but that title is make sure has been reflected to the content of the study. Okay, so the keyword is only have the maximum, but the titles never mentions how many words can be used. As long the title is has been covering all the content, I think that is quite enough for the as a main title. Okay, so is it okay?
Thank you, Prof.
Okay.
Do we have more question? Okay, Prof Ramadan, can I ask something about the keywords?
Oh, can.
Yeah, because now we requested to use the keywords with regard to the sustainable development goal. Okay, and it's also consider on the sustainability ranking for the university. Okay, and that's why because to make sure that your work is visible for the SDG, you should add 1 or 2 keywords related to the sustainable development goal. Let's say one of the example is like you put lower depletion, some sort like non-renewable resources or renewable resources. So even though it's not directly used in your paper, but it can increase the visibility of your paper in terms of sustainable development goal.
Yes, I'm agree with Dr. Rossi. Yeah, so sometimes is one of the keywords might be also the keyword is should be cover actually not only the journal but the scope or the article, but the scope or the journal is need to be included. So like example the sustainability, but we have to include maybe cannot be one more lah to make sure the article is still on the right right tracks, right way of the journal. Okay, thank you, Dr. Rossi.
Okay, I think now it's already 11:45. I don't want to take Professor Ramadan time. Then because we already said it's up to 11:30, but now it's already 11:45. If you don't mind, maybe you can turn on your camera, and it's time for us to take a photo.